It's time for Tech Time with Timmy.
Hello, welcome to Tech Time with Timmy. In this episode, Timmy's going to be talking about the Google Home Hub. So the Google Home Hub is a really cool smart display made by Google, and so what that is it's basically like a Google Home, and if you haven't heard of the Google Home, you can watch some previous episodes about that. So it's just like the Google Home, except as you can see, it has a screen on it. So that's really cool, and you can really ask it any question that you might ask Google Home, like play some music or what's the weather or anything like that. You can ask the Google Home Hub, because it's just like a Google Home, except with the useful screen, it will show you stuff. So if you ask the weather, it will tell you the weather, and it'll also show you information about the weather and all that kind of stuff. And it's a touch screen, so you can really easily interact with it. And it means you can also ask it to play YouTube videos and stuff like that, and it can play it on the screen. So that's really cool. And there is no camera, so that privacy is not a concern. So you can put it in any room you want in your house, and you won't feel like it's an invasion of privacy by having the camera there. And on the back of the Google Home Hub, there is a little switch that you can slide to disable the microphone, so it won't be listening to you anymore. So all the Google Homes have had that. It's just a standard feature that all of them have, and so it's really easy to just mute the microphone, and then it won't hear you anymore. So that's really cool. And on the side here, you've got this little volume rocker thing, and so that's really cool to easily change the volume, and you'll see it changes on the screen, and you can also slide it up and down with your finger on the screen if you want to do it that way, so that's really cool. And so when you're not using the Google Home Hub and it's just sitting in your house, it works kind of like a picture frame. So it syncs with Google Photos, so if you've got an Android phone, all your photos should already be up on Google Photos, and if you have an iPhone, you can just download the Google Photos app, and then that'll upload all your photos really easily as well. So when you're setting up the Google Home Hub, it'll come up with a little thing, and you can choose all the people in your Google Photos. So you might choose any people that you want to show on the Google Home Hub, so then any of those people you choose, it will go through your Google Photos and find photos of just those people, and put all those photos on the Google Home Hub, flashing up in a random order. So it's really cool, and it means any pictures of receipts and stuff like that won't be there. It'll only be really good pictures, so that's really good. And then you've got the time in the bottom left corner, and the weather and stuff like that, so that's really cool as well. And then you've got two microphones up at the top and the ambient light sensor. So what the ambient light sensor does is it sensors the light in your room. So if your room is kind of dark, then it will dim the screen so that it feels a bit like a picture frame, because the pictures are sort of the same brightness as the room. So the idea is that it'll blend in with your house really easily. So that's really cool. And then if it goes completely dark, like if you had it in your bedroom and you turn off the lights for the night, and it's completely dark, then it'll just turn into a clock, so it's really not illuminating the room at all. So that's really convenient as well. And then if you don't want it to happen like that, if you just want it to stay the same brightness all the time, then you can go in and tap on here, and then set the exact brightness to whatever you want. So that's really cool as well. And so you can really just ask it anything you want, just like it's a normal Google Home. So you might say, "Hey Google, what's the weather?"
Currently in Donvale, it's 23 degrees Celsius and sunny.
And so it gives you all this visual information, as well as just telling you. It gives you all this information where you can slide around and look at all the information, so that's really cool. And if you slide across from the left, it'll go back to the home screen. So not where it's just showing pictures, but the main home screen where you access everything. So that's really cool. So you've got all the temperature and all the weather and everything all right here, and you've got coming up, so all the events that are coming up, events and reminders, and if you scroll across, there's a whole lot of cool things like that. And you see news stories and Google Play recommendations and YouTube and all that kind of stuff, so that's really cool. And it's really cool tips in what you might want, so that's really good. And if you pull down from the top, then one of the best features of the Google Home Hub is the advanced home control. So rather than having to ask it, you can really easily just tap things. So you might want to tap on lights, and then you'll see all the lights grouped by room, and if you wanted to change the studio lights, then you could just tap on there. And it brings up this little thing about the studio lights, so you can turn them on and turn them off and dim them and brighten them and stuff like that, so that's really cool. And then also if you tap over here, then you can see each individual light, so you can control each individual light in the room, so that's really cool as well. And if you had cameras and stuff like that, then there'd be icons for all of those right here as well, so that's really cool. And if you tap up here on View Rooms, then you'll get an overview of all the rooms with smart home devices in your house. And so you can scroll around to all the different rooms, and you see all the smart home devices, and you can tap on them and do stuff with them that way. So it's really easy to really easily just get an overview of your home and just control everything really easily with one dashboard that you access just by flicking down and tapping. So that's really cool as well. And just like any other Google Home, you can ask it to play music and stuff like that, so that's really cool. And when it does play music, it'll show you little information on the screen. So it'll show you how much longer to go in the song and stuff like that. There'll be skip buttons and pause play and stuff like that. And also information about the artist who made the song, maybe an album photo of the artist or something like that. So that's really cool as well. And so the speaker quality is not quite as good as the original Google Home, which has a really powerful speaker, but it's still better than the Google Home Mini, so it's somewhere in between, so it's still pretty good sound. And so you can ask it to play any YouTube video or anything like that. So if you wanted to play a YouTube video, you could say, "Hey Google, show me Google Home Hub reviews on YouTube."
Sure, showing Google Home Hub reviews videos.
And then it'll come up like this, so it changes sometimes. Sometimes if it finds the video that would be just perfect for what you asked, it'll just show it straight away. Other times it'll bring up a little menu and you can choose from a few videos, and if you find one you want to watch, you can just tap on it like that, so that's really cool. So you can also ask it to show you photos, so you might want to ask it for photos that you took when you're in a certain place or at a certain time or of someone, so that's really cool. So you might say, "Hey Google, show me photos from Marysville."
Showing your photos.
And then it'll bring up your photos from Marysville, so that's really cool. And you can also flick back here, and you get an overview of all the photos, so you can scroll along and tap on the one you want if you want to, so that's really cool as well. And so it's a really cool smart speaker that can do a whole lot of stuff, so it's really cool, and that'll be the end of this episode of Tech Time with Timmy. Bye!